Welcome back to our channel where we explore the fascinating world of numismatics, coin collecting, and the incredible value of coins from different eras. If you're into coin collecting or just curious about what's out there in the market, you're in the right place. Today, first up, we're diving deep into a classic US coin, the 1987 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel. But before we get into the details, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our latest videos, tips, and coin news. Let's get started. First, let's take a quick look at the coin itself. The Monticello Jefferson nickel, as it's officially known, is a 5-cent piece that has been part of the United States currency since 1938. It's named after Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello, which you can see depicted on the reverse side of the coin. Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and one of the founding fathers, played a crucial role in shaping the nation. And it's fitting that his home, Monticello, would be immortalized on this iconic coin. The front of the coin, as you likely already know, features a portrait of Jefferson himself. On the obverse, we have the likeness of Jefferson, designed by the famous sculptor Felix Schlag. This design has been in use since 1938, though slight modifications have been made over the years, with one of the most notable changes in the 2000s. But today we're focusing on the 1987. So, what makes the 1987 Jefferson nickel so special, and why should collectors be paying attention to it? Well, like all US coins, the Jefferson nickel features a mint mark to indicate where it was produced. The 1987 version of the nickel comes with two types of mint marks. The D mint mark, representing the Denver Mint, and the P mint mark for Philadelphia today. We're focusing on the 1987 D mint mark, which was minted at the Denver Mint. But what's so special about this coin? Why should collectors care about it in today's market? Coins are graded based on their wear, appearance, and overall preservation. The 1987 with D Jefferson nickel we're looking at today is in what's known as fine condition. A coin in fine condition will show moderate wear but still retain its major details. In the case of the Jefferson nickel, you can see Jefferson's face, Monticello, and the details on the coin still stand out clearly, though they may be softened or worn slightly. But overall, it's in pretty good shape for a coin that's now over 3 decades old. Coins that are in fine condition tend to be more accessible for collectors compared to those in higher grades like mint state, but they can still hold quite a bit of value, especially if they're part of a sought-after series like this one. Now here's something interesting that might surprise you. Some collectors have noted a grayish layer on certain Jefferson nickels, particularly those that were produced in the 1980s. This layer, often seen on coins with a bit of tarnish or oxidation, can actually play a part in their appeal. While tarnishing on coins is generally considered a negative in the numismatic world, this gray layer on certain 1987 with D Jefferson nickels seems to add an element of character which some collectors find intriguing. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of the 1987 with D Jefferson nickel in today's collector market. However, over time, as collectors' interests have shifted and the number of these coins in circulation has decreased, the value of these nickels has increased. A 1987 with D Jefferson nickel in fine condition can fetch anywhere from $125,000, depending on its exact condition and whether it has any unique attributes like that gray layer we discussed. And if the coin is somehow still in its original mint packaging, well, then you could be looking at an even higher value. The 1987 with D Jefferson nickel certainly has its place in the market and collectors are taking note. Why should you care about collecting the 1987 with D Jefferson nickel? Well, as a collector, the thrill isn't just in the potential for profit, it's about owning a piece of history. Every coin tells a story, and the 1987 Jefferson nickel connects us to a specific time in U.S. history, right in the middle of the 1980s, when American coinage was experiencing changes. It's a reminder of the iconic Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's legacy, and the rich tradition of U.S. currency. Plus, as time goes on and more coins are lost, melted down, or simply disappear from circulation, the ones that remain become even more valuable to future generations of collectors. The 1987 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel, when you consider its historical significance, its place in the market, and the overall collector's interest, it's clear that it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. If you happen to come across one in your collection, or if you find one in your pocket change, remember, it could be more valuable than you think. Next up, we're diving deep into the world of numismatics and exploring a true gem from the mid-20th century, the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel. Specifically, we'll be looking at the coin with the D mint mark, often found in fine condition with a black layer, and why it holds such significant value in today's collector market. If you're a collector, so let's get started. The Jefferson nickel, one of the staples in American coinage, was first introduced in 1938 and has undergone several design changes over the years. The 1963 issue features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, designed by Felix Schlag. On the reverse side, we see Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, standing proud in all its architectural beauty. Now, the specific coin we're focusing on today is the 1963 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, where billions of nickels were produced during that time. But what makes this coin particularly fascinating is its status in the collector market today and the intriguing layers it may possess. You'll notice on the reverse of the 1963 Jefferson nickel, just above the Monticello building, is the letter D. This stands for the Denver Mint, which was one of the two facilities responsible for minting these coins. While the Philadelphia Mint also struck 1963 nickels, the Denver Mint's coins are often preferred by collectors for their sharp details and distinct characteristics. In 1963, the minting process was highly automated, but the coin still needed to go through a series of quality checks. Even so, only a small percentage of coins would stand out as truly pristine, and that's what makes certain versions of the 1963 Jefferson nickel so valuable. One of the rare features we'll see in some 1963 Jefferson nickels is the black layer on the surface of the coin. This happens due to a combination of factors, including the alloy's natural oxidation process over time, exposure to certain environmental conditions, and sometimes improper handling in the minting process itself. It's not uncommon to see coins that have aged with a layer of tarnish, but the black layer on some of these nickels can add a distinct layer of mystery and character. Blackened coins like these have a unique appeal for collectors because they often exhibit unusual patterns of wear and oxidation. Depending on how the nickel has aged, some collectors find these coins more aesthetically appealing. The more dramatic the black layer, the more attention it may attract in certain niches of the market. So, what makes a 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel in fine condition so special? Coin grading is an essential part of the collecting process, and it involves assessing the physical appearance and preservation of a coin. The grading scale ranges from poor to perfect uncirculated, with several levels in between. A fine coin means it has visible wear but still retains important details, such as Jefferson's features and the Monticello design. A fine condition coin may not have the sharp, crisp details of an uncirculated coin, but it still retains enough features for a collector to appreciate. These coins often hold a certain charm that you just don't see with modern releases. Coins like these, especially with the rare blackened surface, can have a higher than usual demand. Many bricks maintain the estimated height of 14 feet at their shoulder. Now, let's get to the most important part, the value. You might be wondering, how much is a 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel with mint mark worth today, especially in fine condition with a black layer? Well, the value can fluctuate depending on several factors: the coin's exact condition, its rarity, and the current demand in the collector market. To put things into perspective, if the coin is in exceptional fine condition or if it has unique characteristics such as that intriguing black layer, it could fetch anywhere from $160,000 or more. Some particularly well-preserved coins can even reach higher values depending on the collector's interest and the coin's provenance. What sets the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel? The scarcity of well-preserved examples in today's market. In the case of coins with unique characteristics, collectors often place a premium on the coin's rarity and condition. So while this nickel may not have the same price tag as a rare gold coin, its appeal lies in its design, history, and the ongoing interest in mid-20th century American coins. Proper care is crucial if you want to maintain the value of your coin. Store your 1963 Jefferson nickel in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. Use acid-free holders or capsules to protect the coin from further oxidation or scratches. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark is a fascinating coin to own. Its unique features, historical significance, and potential for increased value in the future make it a worthy addition to any collection. Next up, we're diving into a fascinating coin that might just be hiding in your collection or even your pocket change. The 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel. This unassuming 5-cent coin from the early 60s has a surprisingly big value on today's collector market, especially if you have one without a mint mark or one that has seen better days in terms of wear and tear. Stick around as we explore everything you need to know about this coin, its history, its current value, and how you can determine if your 1963 nickel could be worth far more than its face value. Now, the 1963 Jefferson nickel might seem like a simple, run-of-the-mill coin at first glance. It features the familiar portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the front and a detailed depiction of his famous home, Monticello, on the back. But there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. With the right condition and unique features, let's start by taking a quick dive into the history of the Jefferson nickel. First minted in 1938, the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel. For nearly 3 decades, the coin featured Thomas Jefferson's likeness on the front, and on the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's estate in Virginia, became the defining symbol. This design, with only minor modifications, has stood the test of time. However, the 1963 edition is particularly interesting because it marks the final year before the design change in the 1964 coin series. In 1964, the U.S. Mint started making small modifications to the reverse design, making the 1963 Monticello Jefferson. Before we go further, let's talk about mint marks. If you've ever collected coins before, you've probably noticed a small letter just below the date on many coins. This mint mark tells you where the coin was produced. For example, coins minted in Philadelphia typically don't have a mint mark, while coins minted in Denver will feature a small D, and those made in San Francisco will display an S. Now, the 1963 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is particularly important. The 1963 Philadelphia minted nickel without a mint mark is often seen as rarer because it represents a transitionary period in coin production. There's a good chance that you could find a 1963 nickel without a mint mark in circulation, but if it's in great shape, it could fetch a premium. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1963 Jefferson nickel today. You might be wondering, is my 1963 nickel worth anything? Let's break it down. The value jumps dramatically if the coin is in good condition. Coins in fine or very fine condition can sell anywhere between $155,000, but things get even more exciting for coins that are graded as uncirculated or MS60 and above. A coin in excellent condition could be worth $170,000 or more. One term that collectors often use when referring to coins in high condition is multi-wave. But what does that mean? In the context of the 1963 Jefferson nickel, a multi-wave condition refers to a coin that has an undisturbed surface with only minor signs of wear, but not enough to detract from its luster. Essentially, it's a coin that has been preserved in a way that allows the original details and features of the coin to remain visible. These multi-wave coins often reflect light in such a way that their details are magnified, making them more appealing to collectors. If your 1963 Jefferson nickel is in multi-wave condition, meaning it has a bit of shine and visible features, but still maintains a certain level of wear, it could bring in a significant premium, especially if it's a Philadelphia minted coin without mint mark. Collectors today are particularly interested in coins from the 1960s, like the 1963 Jefferson nickel, for several reasons. First, they are relatively old, yet they were minted in large quantities, making them somewhat common. But the demand for high-quality, well-preserved coins from this era is higher than ever. The value of the 1963 Jefferson nickel is also influenced by broader market trends in numismatics. For example, the price of precious metals like nickel and copper can fluctuate, which may have a small impact on the value of base metal coins like the Jefferson nickel. The overall market for classic U.S. coins has been on the rise, especially as younger collectors enter the scene and look to acquire vintage pieces. One thing to keep in mind is that rare coins, particularly those that have remained in great condition or have unique features, often appreciate in value over time, while a 1963 Jefferson nickel making it a worthwhile investment for long-term collectors. Now that you know the potential value of a 1963 Jefferson nickel, how can you determine if your coin is worth big money? There are a few simple steps you can follow to assess its value. Start by carefully examining your coin. Is it in good shape with minimal wear? Use a magnifying glass to inspect the details on both sides of the coin, especially the date, Monticello, and Jefferson's portrait. If the coin looks heavily worn or corroded, it won't be worth much. If your 1963 Jefferson nickel doesn't have a mint mark, it could be worth more than the ones that do. Check closely for any signs of a mint mark under the date. If you're unsure about the condition of your coin, consider getting it graded by a professional grading service. This will give you an accurate assessment of its value and market potential. Finally, it's a good idea to check auction sites or specialty coin seller websites to see what similar 1963 Jefferson nickels are selling for. This will give you a better idea of the going price in today's market. So, there you have it, the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel. If you happen to have one in great condition, especially without a mint mark or in multi-wave condition, it could be worth much more than you think. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, this coin is certainly one to keep an eye on. Next up, we have something truly special to talk about, the Monticello Jefferson nickel, specifically the 1969 edition with the D mint mark. This little 5-cent piece is more than just pocket change. In fact, it has captured the attention of serious collectors around the world and holds a surprising amount of value, especially in a fine condition with a unique black layer. Stick around because we're going to break down everything you need to know about this remarkable coin, why it's so valuable today, and how you can spot one in your collection. Let's get started. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1969 with D mint mark, let's take a quick trip back in time. The Jefferson nickel was first minted in 1938 to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. Designed by artist Felix Schlegel, the coin features a portrait of Jefferson on the obverse and an image of his famous plantation home, Monticello, on the reverse. The design has remained largely unchanged over the years, but there have been several variations and key years worth noting. So, what makes the 1969 with D mint mark Jefferson nickel so special? Well, first off, this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the D mint mark located just below the year. At the time, 1969 was a transitional period for coinage production, with the U.S. Mint focusing on mass production. But here's where things get interesting. The 1969 nickel, it's the condition and the unique features that can really make a difference. Cut to a high-definition shot of a 1969 with D nickel that features the black layer zooming in on the coin's surface. Use visual effects to highlight the contrast between the black layer and the natural color of the coin. Now, let's talk about something that really excites collectors, the black layer. This is a phenomenon that has been observed in some 1969 with D Jefferson nickels, and it adds a certain mystique to the coin. What is this black layer, you might ask? Well, it's a form of toning caused by the natural interaction between the metal in the coin and environmental factors over time. In some cases, these nickels develop a deep dark coloration that can range from a smoky gray to a dark black hue. The presence of this black layer is highly sought after because it gives the coin a distinct and unusual appearance, making it stand out in a collection. Now let's talk about the condition of the coin, which is arguably the most important factor when it comes to its value. The term fine condition refers to a coin that shows wear but still retains most of its original details. For the 1969 with D Jefferson nickel, a fine condition coin will have crisp features, readable lettering, and clear details on the portrait of Jefferson and Monticello. While not in pristine, uncirculated condition, a fine condition coin can still command a substantial price, especially if it has that intriguing black layer. So, what's the value of a 1969 with D Jefferson nickel today? This is where things get really interesting. 1969 with D nickel coin in fine condition can fetch a much higher price. If the coin has that distinctive black layer and is in good shape, collectors have been known to pay anywhere from $157,000 or even more. Its unique appearance and desirable condition make it a hidden gem in the collector's market. If you're wondering how to find one of these valuable coins, it's all about patience and observation. Start by looking through your own change. You'd be surprised at what you might find. Pay close attention to the condition of the coin and look for that distinctive black toning. Make sure to examine the details of the coin's design, particularly the face of Jefferson and the Monticello building. The clearer the features, the more valuable the coin will be. The coin market is constantly changing and collector demand can fluctuate. However, Jefferson nickels, especially those with unique features like the black layer, have consistently attracted attention from serious numismatists. In recent years, more collectors have been focusing on nickels from the 1960s, including the 1969 with D mint mark variety, due to their aesthetic appeal and relatively low cost compared to other rare coins. This trend suggests that the value of these coins could rise even further as interest grows. If you're looking to sell your 1969 with D Jefferson nickel or add one to your collection, there are several places to consider. Local coin shops are a great option where you can get an expert opinion on the coin's value. Alternatively, online marketplaces like eBay or even specialized coin auctions are fantastic platforms to either buy or sell rare coins. Just remember to do your research and ensure you're dealing with a reputable seller. So there you have it, the 1969 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel, a coin. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting, it's always exciting to uncover these hidden treasures. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel. Specifically, we'll be focusing on a fascinating variant, the 1964 nickel without a mint mark in red shade fine condition and its place in the current collector market. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the story behind this coin and its incredible value today. Before we talk numbers, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1964 Jefferson nickel. Produced by the U.S. Mint, the Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, and it remains an enduring symbol of American coinage. The reverse side of this coin features a portrayal of Thomas Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, an architectural masterpiece that reflects the elegance and historical importance of Jefferson's legacy. On the reverse, we can see Monticello, a symbol of Jefferson's life and contributions to the United States, along with the denomination 5 cents. The obverse side features a striking portrait of Jefferson himself, designed by artist Felix Schlag. Now let's get to one of the key aspects of the 1964 Jefferson nickel that interests collectors, the mint mark. In 1964, the U.S. Mint produced coins at several different mint facilities across the country: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins from Denver and San Francisco bear mint marks D and S respectively. However, the coins struck in Philadelphia that year were not marked with a mint mark at all, which means that a 1964 nickel without a mint mark was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike some rare coins, the 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark wasn't made in an unusually low quantity. In fact, millions of these coins were struck. However, the lack of a mint mark adds a subtle element of rarity and intrigue, particularly for collectors who focus on details like this. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its red shade, or reddish hue, which is something you don't see in every 1964 nickel. But how does a coin like this become a sought-after piece for collectors? Let's explore its condition. Condition is key in the world of coin collecting. The 1964 Jefferson nickel we're focusing on today is in what's known as fine condition. What does that mean exactly? A coin in fine condition shows noticeable wear but still retains most of its details. For this nickel, the features like Jefferson's portrait and Monticello are still clear, although there's some surface wear, such as slight scratching or flattening. In coin grading, fine falls somewhere in the middle. It's not perfect, but it's still valuable, especially for coins from this era. The fine condition of this 1964 nickel, combined with its unique lack of mint mark, adds to its desirability. Now that we've covered the design and condition, let's talk about the real question on everyone's mind. How much is this coin worth today? As with all coins, the value of the 1964 Jefferson nickel can vary based on several factors: its condition, rarity, and current market demand. When it comes to a 1964 nickel without a mint mark in fine condition, we're looking at a market value that can fluctuate between $156,000 in most cases. However, the true value is often higher when the coin is sold by collectors or dealers who see its potential. If you happen to have a 1964 Jefferson nickel in excellent fine condition with a unique red hue, you might even see higher bids at coin auctions or specialized dealers. Some collectors could be willing to pay premium prices, especially if they're looking for that particular look or mint variation for their collections. It's important to remember that coin values are not set in stone. They're subject to market trends, collector interest, and the overall state of the economy. In fact, many coins that were once undervalued have skyrocketed in price over time as interest in numismatics has grown. The 1964 Jefferson nickel is a great example of how what may seem like an ordinary coin can gain significant value if it's in the right condition and sought after by the right collectors. If you've got a 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in fine condition with that appealing red tint, it's worth holding on to. It's still a significant piece for any collector, and who knows, the market for coins could change and this nickel could become even more valuable in the future. Next up, we're diving into a true gem of American numismatics, the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel. You might think this is just another run-of-the-mill nickel from the 1960s, but trust me, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. So grab your magnifying glass because we're about to explore the history, rarity, and value of the 1963 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in its fine condition, with a unique obverse yellow layer and a reverse black layer. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, designed by famed sculptor Felix Schlag. This iconic coin features Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, and Monticello, his Virginia plantation home, on the reverse. Jefferson's likeness has adorned the nickel for decades, and Monticello has remained a staple on the reverse side. The year 1963 was no different in terms of design. This was during the time when the US Mint was producing coins under the familiar design, but here's where things start to get interesting. The coin we're focusing on today, the 1963 Jefferson nickel, has some unique characteristics that separate it from other nickels in circulation during that time. To truly understand the value and rarity of the 1963 Jefferson nickel, it's essential to understand the minting process. Normally, coins are stamped with a mint mark to indicate where they were produced. The U.S. Mint has several facilities across the country, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1963 Jefferson nickel we're discussing doesn't have a mint mark. Why is this so important? In 1963, the Philadelphia Mint was producing a large number of nickels, and coins from that facility typically bear no mint mark. However, it's crucial to note that many collectors still seek these mint markless coins, especially in good condition, as they are part of a distinctive run of coins from that era. Now, let's talk about the condition of this particular 1963 Jefferson nickel. In the world of numismatics, the condition of a coin plays a huge role in determining its value. Coin condition is graded on a scale from poor to perfect uncirculated, and coins that fall into the fine category are considered to have light wear, with most of the design elements still visible and legible. This particular coin in fine condition means that while it might show some wear, it's still in excellent shape compared to other coins from the same era. The finer details of Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello building remain visible, making it a sought piece for collectors looking for coins that strike a balance between rarity and affordability. Now here's where it gets really fascinating. One of the standout features of this coin is the unique coloration that has developed over time, with the obverse exhibiting a yellowish tint and the reverse showing a striking black layer. This coloration can occur for several reasons. The coin may have been exposed to environmental factors like sulfur, moisture, or certain chemicals, or it could be the result of an unusual minting or aging process. Regardless of the cause, these color variations make the 1963 Jefferson nickel a visually unique piece, and it has caught the attention of collectors who seek out coins with unusual toning. Yellow and black tone coins are particularly desirable among collectors who specialize in toned coins. The more vibrant and distinct the color patterns, the more value these coins can have. Let's dive into the big question. What is the value of a 1963 Jefferson nickel in fine condition with this unique yellow and black toning? When it comes to coins like this, value is largely determined by the combination of rarity, condition, and demand. In the case of the 1963 Jefferson nickel, the missing mint mark and unique toning have significantly boosted its value in recent years. While standard 1963 Jefferson nickels without toning or minting anomalies, typically a coin with a unique yellow obverse and black reverse layer, especially in fine condition, can fetch anywhere from $200,000 or even more depending on the specifics of the coin. So, if you think you found a 1963 Jefferson nickel that fits this description, where do you go from here? The best places to sell or buy rare coins like this are through trusted online marketplaces, dedicated numismatic websites, or even coin shows where collectors gather to trade and showcase their collections. Always make sure you get an accurate valuation from a professional coin appraiser or a certified dealer, especially if your coin has unusual features like the yellow and black toning. And for those of you still hunting for this coin, keep your eyes peeled. You might find one tucked away in your pocket change or among rolls of nickels at your local bank. The 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, featuring a yellow obverse and black reverse layer, is not just another ordinary coin. With its fine condition and unique toning, it stands as a collector's item that has grown in value over time. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, adding a 1963 Jefferson nickel to your collection could be a wise investment. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing varieties of the Jefferson nickel, the 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel. But with a twist, this coin with no mint mark features a rare reverse black layer and red spots. But that's not all. We'll explore why this coin holds significant value in today's market and how its condition affects its price. So grab your magnifying glass and let's take a closer look at this extraordinary piece of American history. To fully appreciate the 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel, let's first take a step back in time and understand the history of the Jefferson nickel itself. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the reverse, and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. The 1964 coin was minted during a period of great change in U.S. coinage. The 1960s marked the beginning of a shift toward the use of more modern materials in coin production. This was also the year when the country was witnessing a series of economic shifts and a growing interest in collecting coins. Now, let's focus on the specific coin we're discussing today, the 1964 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. The mint mark, located on the obverse, typically indicates which U.S. mint facility produced the coin. In 1964, coins were minted at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of the time, the Philadelphia minting facility didn't add a mint mark, which means that the 1964 coins produced there lack the D or S that would typically appear on other coins of the era. So, how does this impact the value? Well, a lack of mint mark can sometimes make a coin rarer or more desirable to collectors, especially if it's in great condition. But the real intrigue with the 1964 Jefferson nickel comes from its reverse side, the black layer, and the red spots that make it stand out. If you've seen a 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel with a reverse black layer and red spots, you know that these unique features are what set this coin apart from the rest. The reverse black layer is a striking visual anomaly caused by an error during the minting process or sometimes through environmental factors after the coin has been produced. The black layer is typically a form of toning that can occur when a coin is exposed to certain chemicals or environmental elements over time. When this happens, the coin's surface can change, creating a darkened patina that may even obscure some of the details of the coin's design. But this black layer is often seen as desirable among collectors as it adds a certain level of rarity and uniqueness to the coin. But what really catches collectors' eyes are the red spots that can occasionally appear. These spots are usually the result of a chemical reaction between the coin and the air or moisture it's exposed to. Sometimes they're caused by the copper within the coin reacting with elements in the environment, leading to red or orange discolorations. So, the combination of the black layer and red spots creates a coin that stands out visually and tells a unique story about its journey through time. Now let's talk about one of the most important aspects of this coin, its condition and the value it holds in the market today. Coins are valued based on their rarity, demand, and the condition in which they're found. The 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, reverse black layer, and red spots has become quite sought after in the collector community. When it comes to condition, the more pristine a coin is, the higher the value. Coins are graded using a scale called the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A coin that's graded as very fine typically falls within the range of 20 to 35 on the scale, which means it has some wear but retains most of its original details. In today's market, a 1964 Jefferson nickel in very fine condition with a reverse black layer and red spots can command a surprising amount of attention from collectors, especially if it's in exceptional condition. Their rarity, distinctive features, and appealing aesthetics make them highly desirable. Let's take a look at some current market trends for this coin. As of today, the 1964 Jefferson nickel with reverse black layer and red spots, $146,000, as these characteristics make the coin more unique. Collectors are always on the lookout for rare and visually striking coins, and the 1964 Jefferson nickel fits that description perfectly. The coin's appeal goes beyond just its age, it's about the story it tells and the striking appearance it offers. That combination makes this coin one that stands out in the crowded world of coin collecting. So, what's the bottom line here? The 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, reverse black layer, and red spots is a unique and intriguing piece of American history. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol of how even the smallest imperfections or environmental changes can turn a regular piece of currency into a rare and valuable collector's item. If you're a collector, make sure to keep an eye out for this coin, especially if it's in very fine or better condition. Whether you're looking to add to your collection or sell to a discerning buyer, this rare nickel is a treasure worth considering. And if you have one of these coins in your collection, take a closer look. It might just be worth more than you think. Next up, we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins from the mid-20th century, the 1962 Monticello Jefferson nickel, specifically one with a D mint mark and some intriguing red spots that can make it a treasure in the collector market today. We'll explore its value, rarity, and everything you need to know to spot this coin in your collection or when browsing for coins. Now, the 1962 Jefferson nickel might seem like just another common coin you'd find in your spare change, but don't be fooled. In this video, we'll break down the history, design features, and especially those rare red spots. The Jefferson nickel, first issued in 1938, features two distinct designs. On the obverse, we have the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, and on the reverse, we see the iconic Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. These designs have been a hallmark of American numismatics for decades. The 1962 version of this nickel features the obverse design of Thomas Jefferson facing left, with the words "Liberty" above and "In God We Trust" below. The date, 1962, is also inscribed, along with the D mint mark on the right side. If your coin has a D, it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most prolific minting facilities in the U.S. The reverse or backside showcases Monticello, Jefferson's famous home, with the words E pluribus unum and Monticello above it. Below you'll find 5-sentence and United States of America. This simple yet beautiful design has stood the test of time. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Take a look at this nickel, specifically the obverse, where we see some very unusual red spots. These aren't just stains or dirt, they're actually a result of a rare condition known as copper spots. During the minting process, some nickels might undergo a chemical reaction or come into contact with certain substances that lead to these red or copper-colored spots. Sometimes these spots appear due to a mix-up in the metal used during the striking process or because of environmental conditions after the coin was minted. So why do these red spots matter for collectors? Well, they do. These spots are rare, and coins with this anomaly can often fetch a premium over standard nickels without these marks. It all boils down to the uniqueness of the coin and the interest collectors have in owning something that stands out from the typical specimens. Condition plays a huge role in the value of any coin, and the 1962 Jefferson nickel is no exception. Grading coins can be a complex process, but it's key to understanding a coin's worth. For this particular nickel, we're talking about a very fine grade, which is typically defined by clear details and minimal wear. In the case of our 1962 nickel, even with the red spots, it's crucial that the coin's overall condition is taken into account. If the coin has a lot of wear and tear, the value could be significantly lower. But if it's in very fine condition, meaning the details of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello are still crisp, coins in very fine condition should show no more than moderate wear. Jefferson's facial features should still be well defiled, and Monticello should have a good amount of detail. This is a key factor in assessing its value, and the red spots won't affect this grading unless they're accompanied by significant damage or corrosion. So, what is this coin worth? Well, the value of the 1962 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark and red spots can vary significantly depending on its condition and the rarity of the red spots themselves. A typical 1962 nickel in very fine condition could be worth anywhere between $187,000 or more. But remember, the collector market can fluctuate. The demand for coins with red spots is driven by a niche group of collectors who specifically look for anomalies. This makes the 1962 Jefferson nickel with these marks somewhat of a specialty item in the numismatic world. So, how can you find a 1962 Monticello Jefferson nickel with red spots, and how should you evaluate it? First, it's important to carefully examine any 1962 nickels you have in your collection, or check through rolls of coins. Look closely at the upper portions of Jefferson's face and near the rim. If you spot any small red or copper-colored spots, you might just be holding onto a potential hidden gem. Remember, the more distinctive and visible the spots, the better. However, condition is everything, no matter how interesting the red spots are. If the rest of the coin is heavily worn or damaged, its value will decrease. The 1962 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the mint mark nickel, it could be a hidden treasure in your collection. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, keep an eye out for these rare anomalies because they could be worth much more than you think. Next up, we're diving into an exciting coin that may just be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket, the 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel, but this one has a unique twist. We're talking about a nickel without a mint mark, featuring a dark gray obverse layer and reverse black spots. What makes this particular coin so fascinating, and why is it worth big money today in the collector's market? Stick around because we're going to break it down and see if your change could be hiding a rare treasure. Let's get started. First, let's take a look at the coin itself. The 1964 Jefferson nickel was minted by the United States to continue the tradition of honoring founding father Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. However, it's the specific characteristics of this coin, without a mint mark, with a dark gray obverse layer and black spots on the reverse, that sets it apart. Before we jump into the unique features of this particular nickel, let's quickly review the history behind the Monticello Jefferson nickel. The obverse side, designed by Felix Schlag, features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson. This design has remained largely unchanged since its debut in 1938, except for minor modifications over the years. On the reverse, we see the iconic Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia, which serves as a lasting tribute to the third president of the United States. Now, the 1964 Jefferson nickel is a part of the regular series of nickels issued that year, but it's not necessarily the coin itself that grabs the attention. What makes this coin stand out is the presence of an unusual combination of features that can significantly affect its value in the collector's market. One of the first things that catch collectors' eyes with this coin is the dark gray layer that often appears on the obverse. Now, this darkening can be a result of a couple of different factors, including the coin's age, environmental exposure, or specific minting issues that cause the coin to develop this coloration. It's important to note that the presence of this dark gray layer doesn't necessarily indicate a rare or valuable flaw, but it can make the coin stand out from others in a collector's collection. Now let's talk about those black spots on the reverse side. These spots are actually a form of corrosion, or more specifically the result of environmental factors like exposure to moisture, chemicals, or pollutants. In many cases, these black spots might make the coin less appealing to some collectors. However, there is a market for coins with unique patinas, especially if the rest of the coin remains in fine condition. An important detail to point out here is that this specific 1964 nickel has no mint mark. While this isn't particularly rare for the 1964 series, since all Philadelphia minted coins from this year were produced without mint marks, it still adds an extra layer of intrigue for collectors who are searching for a complete collection. Another crucial factor when determining the value of a coin is its condition. This particular 1964 Jefferson nickel is described as being in fine condition, which is a grading term used by collectors to indicate a coin with moderate wear but still easily recognizable features. In fine condition, you can still clearly make out Thomas Jefferson's profile and Monticello on the reverse, even though some of the finer details may have worn down over time. So, what does all of this mean for the value of this coin today? Generally speaking, 1964 Jefferson nickels, when you have a coin with unique characteristics, especially something like a dark gray layer or black spots, it can fetch a higher price, depending on the level of interest from collectors. For the average 1964 Jefferson nickel in fine condition, if the coin is well preserved, or if the unique qualities like the dark gray layer and reverse black spots catch the right collector's eye, you might see this coin being sold for anywhere between $126,000 or more. Well, the first thing to do is to carefully inspect the coin. Check the obverse for any signs of the dark gray layer, and take a close look at the reverse for any black spots or other unusual markings. Then take note of the coin's overall condition. If it's in fine condition or better, you may have something worth holding onto or even selling. Now that you know what to look for, take a second to check your change or search through your collection. You never know if that 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel could be worth more than you thought. If you find one, make sure to get it appraised, and you might just have a valuable piece of history in your hands. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1964 Jefferson nickel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more coin collecting tips, tricks, and valuable information. Until next time, happy collecting.